Hi everyone, welcome to Val Fashion's YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. If this is your first time of stopping by my channel, thank you for stopping by. Please do not hesitate to subscribe to my channel, put on the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. And if you're already a subscriber, this is me saying welcome. I really appreciate you. So today we're going to be learning how to draft an A-shaped top with raglan sleeve. Okay, so I'll be using this raw silk as my lining, and then this is the main fabric. This lace I'll be using it as the main fabric. So the measurements needed to achieve this top is first the shoulder measurement of your client, bust circumference of the client, your hip circumference, the length of the blouse. Okay, I didn't talk about the waist circumference because the waist circumference this doesn't really matter at this point. Okay, so now the width of the A shape I want to have a width of 15 inches. So 15 inches on fold. Of course, when I open, that will be 30 inches. So I'll be adding a sewing allowance of 1 inch. So what I'll be folding right now is going to be 16 inches on fold, and the length of the blouse I'm making is 25 inches. I hope we get it right. So I'll go ahead and fold my 16 inches and show us the next thing to do. So I've placed my fabric on fold. I already have my width of 16 inches. So this is my width of 16 inches here. So I've placed my fabric on fold and I have my width of 16 inches on fold. So can you see that is on fold? So take note of this part, it's on fold. So this is my center front. Okay, so and I've gone ahead to draw my shoulder line. I hope the white chalk is showing. So here's my shoulder line, and then I'll also go ahead to mark the length of the blouse. So the length of the blouse I'm making is 25 inches. So 25 inches here too. 25 inches. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mark it out like this. So on this shoulder line, I'm going to mark 3 inches and then 8 inches, which is the standard to achieve our shoulder slope. So I'll connect it like this to the 3 inches. So my client's shoulder measurement is 15 inches. 15 divided by 2, that's 7.5. So plus half inch for joining my sleeve. So that will bring me to 8 inches. So this standard is the measurement is stopping at the 3 inches, 8 inches standard for the shoulder slant. Okay, so right now your armhole measurement, you divide your bust circumference by 6 plus 1.5. So in our case the bust is 36 divided by 6 plus 1.5, and I have my 7.5 here at this point. So now I'm going to bring down this same 8 inches I have here to this point. This is to achieve a straight line. So here we are. Okay, so now I have the chest line and I have the hip line, which is the full length of the blouse. Okay, so on this chest line, I'll go ahead and enter my client's bust measurement. The bust measurement is 36 here. So this is it, plus my sewing allowance of 2 inches. So here I have my 2 inches. So now, remember I said we're making a raglan sleeve. So we're not going to have the regular armholes that we usually have. So because we are making a raglan sleeve, now go ahead and mark the neckline of this, the neck width I'm going to be using and the neck depth. I'm using a neck width of 3.5, and then I'm also going to be using a neck depth of same 3.5. I'll be using the same thing for both front and back. So that is why that's what I'll be using for both front and back. Okay, So here we are. Okay. So now because I want to achieve a raglan sleeve will run all the way from the neck, from the neckline to the armhole of the person. So on this neckline, I'm going to come down by 2 inches. Can you see from this side? I'll come down by 2 inches. Then I'll bring my ruler like this and connect it like this. Can you see? I'm connecting it to the sewing allowance that I have here at this point. Okay, so now this is now my new armhole, not the regular armholes we usually have. Okay, so then I'll now come here to the hem. Remember I said I want to have a width of 16 inches. So I'll come here and mark my 16 inches. So I'll bring my ruler from here. Can you see? And then I'll go ahead and connect it. I want to have an A-shaped sleeve. Remember that we're making an A-shaped sleeve. Okay? Can you see that? So this is what we have. Okay, so now I'm going to do this now. On this part, remember I came down by 2 inches. So now I'm going to go ahead. I'll go up by ½ inch here. This will be my sewing allowance to join the raglan sleeve. Remember that this is actually my neck width. So if I don't add my ½ inch here and I come and join my sleeve, that means I'm going to have a shortage. I won't have up to the 3.5. So on this part, I will go up by ½ inch. So which is my sewing allowance. So I'll bring in my scissors and we'll cut it out. I'll go ahead and cut out like this. So I'll need 2 of this. Remember I said we're maintaining the same neck width and neck depth for both the front and back. So I'll just quickly place it and cut the front and show us the next step to take. I've gone ahead to cut out the second one, which is going to serve as the back. Okay, so now take note of this place. Remember that from the neckline, remember it was like this, and we came down by 2 inches from the shoulder slant here. We came down by 2 inches. So this is 2 inches, and then we went out by ½ inch for sewing allowance. So automatically what this means is that this part now, I'm looking for 2 inches. That means that's what I cut out, because by the time we sew this like this, because this is how I'm going to sew it, of course I'll be short of 2 inches. So now this particular one, this one I'm going to be cutting, I'm going to be also adding ½ inch to it also, because I'm going to be cutting 2.5 inches so that I can have ½ inch for joining it to this part. Okay, I hope that makes sense. What I've cut out from here, what I've lost from here now is 2 inches. So but I'll be also adding ½ inch for joining, because I've added my sewing allowance here on this point. Okay, so now I'm going to place my fabric. So take note of the way I placed my fabric. Can you see that this part is the folded part? This is the part that is facing us. So this is going to be the folded part, which is going to be center of the sleeve. Okay, so now I placed my fabric and I came in by ½ inch. Can you see? So can you see that this part of the fabric is opened and this part is closed? So I came in by ½ inch, and then I'll go upwards from this point and make sure that I have 2.5 inches. Remember that what we cut out was 2 inches. So I have my 2.5 inches here. Okay, so this is it. So I'll go ahead and draw my neckline. That's continue my neckline this way. Did you see that? So, and then I'll also confirm my 2.5 inches. So can you see from here to here, I have my 2.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark it like this, because that ½ inch now is for my sewing allowance. I'll go ahead and mark it like this. So from that neckline, I'll confirm my sleeve length. Okay, remember that we used a neck width of 3.5. So I'll place my tape on 3.5. So here is my 3.5, and my client's shoulder measurement is 15 inches, which is 7.5, half of it. So from this point now, I placed my tape on 3.5, and then here I marked my client's shoulder measurement on 7.5. So from this point now, determine how long the sleeve is going to be. So from this point now, I'm looking for a sleeve length of 17 inches. I want to have a 3/4 sleeve. So here is my 17 inches at this point. Okay, so that means from here to here, placing it from the neckline now, I have a length of 21 inches. But placing it, of course, from the shoulder measurement, that's my 3/4 sleeve, which is 17 inches. Okay, so at this point, I want to have a sleeve opening of the same 15 inches. So here we are. So this is my 15 inches here. Remember, I added a sewing allowance of 2 inches. Okay, so now I'll come to this part and enter my client's round arm measurement. A round arm Around is, remember that this is where the shoulder measurement stops here at this point. So I will come down by 3 inches and enter her round arm measurement. So her round arm measurement is 16. 16 divided by 2, that's 8, plus my sewing allowance. I'm just going to add a sewing allowance of 1 inch. So now you can do something. If you don't want this to be too bogus, you can come here and reduce that sewing allowance to like 1 inch. That's if you want it to be just fitted around this part and then opens up at that point. So I'm going to add this now. So I'll come here now to this point. I have my 8 inches here, and then I'll add my sewing allowance of 1.5 inches or 1 inch. So this is it here. Then I'll connect it to this point now. So can you see? I'll connect it to this point now. Okay. And then can you see what we have here? So I have my A-shaped sleeve. The sleeve is opening up also, and then can see the neckline. So what did I do? I came down by 17 inches, which is the length of the sleeve. Here I entered the upper round arm of my client, and then I connected it to this 15 that I have here. So now we'll go ahead and cut out the neckline. Okay, so I already have the shape I want to have here. Remember that this is plus sewing allowance. So now just go ahead and cut it out like this. So I'll cut also. So here we are. So now I have my sleeve. So there's something I'm going to do at this point. You can just go in by 1 inch like this. Can you see the shape I have? So that I can give this a nice shape. Don't want it to just be like a triangle. So can you see? So it just came in and then it went out this way. So I've gone ahead to cut out the second sleeve, and you can see how I went in. I reshaped it. I just went in by extra half inch to give it that nice shape here. Okay, so and then this is the main bodies, the front and the back. You can see the shape that I have. So you can see the A shape here, and then can see this side also giving its own A shape. So this is what we're going to have. So now from this end here, I don't want to have this pointy look here. So I will come up by 1 inch from here at the hem here, and then curve it in like this. So just take away this 1 inch here. So I'll bring in the other one and place it so that I can trim out the same thing. So I will advise that when you are making a flare top like this, an A-shaped top like this, just add 1 inch sewing allowance so that it's not too bulky. That's why I went ahead to reduce my sewing allowance to 1 inch. Why I did that is that already this has volume. I just want to have the A shape around here. So, and you want to have that fitting around the bust area. So that is why I have my sewing allowance of just 1 inch. So the bust is going to have the fitting because I'll be sewing on just half inch. So the remaining half inch is for ease. So can you see? Now placing my tape from here. Remember that the bust measurement of my client is 36. 36 divided by 4, that's 9. So can you see that I have 10.5? So I just took away half inch. And then here, as we're coming down, I took, this is the same, I still have 10.5 there. So I just took away half inch from my measurement. So I'll be sewing this outfit on half inch. So that means that remaining 1 inch will be for ease so that it will give the nice fit on the dress, because this dress will not have, it will not have a zipper. Okay, so I'm going to place this fabric now. I'm going to place all these pieces now on my lace fabric and cut it out. Then I'll show us how to couple them together. Cut out my lace fabric. So this is what we have. This for the front and the back, both lining for front and back here. Can you see? So this is it. And then I have my sleeve also. You can see I'm also working with the scallop part of the lace. So I'll be folding my satin, that's I'll be hemming my satin so that lace scallop part of the lace, that's the lace tip, ends that's the sleeve, and also end the hem of the outfit. Okay, you can see that this scallop part is really beautiful. So I'm going to fold this points, okay, and then I'll go and turn my lining. I'll turn my lining and come back and show us. This is just going to be a very simple dress and a simple top to make. Okay, so I've gone ahead to top stitch my satin to the lace fabric. So you can see I folded the hem of my satin, and then of course I left the lace, the scalloped part, because I want to have this part showing down. It's the beauty of the lace. So you can see I've sewn this side too. Then I went ahead, I did the same thing on my sleeve, on my sleeves. Okay, so now I went ahead to join them. Remember that this was how I cut it out. So I went ahead to join the sleeve to the bodice. Okay, so you can see it's actually coming back to form the round neckline. My 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch for both front and back. So I sewed here, and I've also woven to make it neat. This is the same thing too for the back. Okay, so now it's time for me to cut the facing I'll be using to turn this neckline. Okay, so if there are two ways you can do this, you can either cut double lining so that by the time you join your lining like this, you use it to turn it, whichever one. But I just want to have a facing, or you can use your bias, you can use your satin to create bias and turn the neckline, or you cut facing. So in my own case, I'm going to be cutting facing. So how am I going to cut my facing? First, I'll fold my fabric into two like this. Can you see? So can you see how the shoulder, you see, this is it, like this. So I'll bring in my leftover satin fabric and then also fold it into two. I also fold into two like this. Can you see? I folded my leftover satin fabric into two, and then I also went ahead to fold into two like this. That's into four. Okay, so I'll bring in my iron and press this part. So you can do it this way. Can you see? This side is the sleeve, and this side is my center front and center back also. So I'll place it like this, and then I folded my fabric also, my blouse also into two. So I'll go ahead and cut it out. That's to cut out my facing like this. So having cut out the neckline, then you now decide how wide you want to go. I like what I have here because you don't have to go too wide. Remember that this part, you can see it's a Raglan neckline, so you don't want to go too much and then it will now start making some places gather. So you just need your neckline to just flow nicely. So what I'll be doing, I'll just come here now. From here I can see that this is like 2 inches, so I'll just mark cut on 2 inches like this. This is my center front and my center back. This is the part that's supposed to be on the shoulder. So I'll come here to notch it. This is so that you don't interchange them. So I'm notching the center back and center front here. So then I'll just open it up so that we can see. So you can see it's a circle that I cut, because remember that everything is joined together, so you don't want to separate them. So I'll come here now. Remember I said this part that is not the center front or the center back. So I'll come here too and get the center. Can you see now? Placing, holding my blouse like this. Can you see? I have my center front. I'll also notch it. Okay, so here we are. So I'll bring my face in now. So you see why I said it was important to notch it, so that when you open it up, you don't interchange them and then take the part that is supposed to be on the shoulder and place it on the front. So here now I'm placing my satin on the right side of my fabric. In my satin on the right side of my fabric. So I'm just going to take it to my sewing machine and sew on 1/2 inch round. Then I'll come back and show us. And after sewing that, I will also go ahead to weave my facing also. Okay, so I've gone ahead to sew my facing. Can you see? I placed on the good side and then I sewed my facing round on 1/2 inch. So now the next thing to do is to notch this facing. Remember that it's a rounded shape. So if you don't notch, this is what I mean by notching. That's just to cut your allowance, but don't cut your seam line. That's your thread. Okay, so I'm cutting. So I'll do that round the neckline so that it's easy for me to turn it and iron. After notching my neckline round, now it's now time for me to turn my facing this way. So I'll bring in my iron and press it. Alright, so I've finished ironing the neckline. So I've turned it this way. So now the next thing I'm going to do, I'll take it to my sewing machine and then I'll top stitch. Can you see this is my seam allowance inside? I'll come here and top stitch it like 1/2 inch away from the neckline. So this is to enable me top stitch my seam allowance that I have under here to the facing. So take note of what I'm picking. I'm only picking the seam allowance and my facing. So I'll top stitch it round. This is just to help hold the neckline really firm. Then I'll come back and show us how to fix our hemming gum round the neckline to just neatly keep the neckline intact. So after top stitching my neckline, as you can see, so it's on its own, it's helping it relax inwards. So I'm just going to use my hemming gum to hold it down. So this is my hemming gum. So you really need your steam iron in this case. I'm just going to place my hemming gum underneath like this. So this, I'm going to just use it to gum the neckline so that my facing stays intact. So you make sure that your steam is coming out. Okay, so I've neatly pressed my neckline. So can you see it's no longer the facing? I've gummed it very well with my iron. So another thing to do to secure this, can you see this part that has my sleeve seam allowance? You can just come here and tack this place very well. That's tack the facing and the seam allowance together. Do the same thing here at this point. Tack it very well. Do the same thing here on the four sides. Okay, the essence of doing this, because with hemming gum, most times when you wash your clothes after maybe 5, 6, 7 washes or several times, if you wash several times, it can make the hemming gum to fade off and then it will start opening. But that is why I went ahead to top stitch this seam allowance towards the lining or towards the facing, which will also help. So by the time you tack this down, this will hold it down, so it will actually make your hemming gum last longer. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So now the next thing to do is for me to sew my blouse, to sew the blouse on. Okay, so I've shaped my top. So you'll notice that I have an even seam allowance of I said I was going to use 1 inch around here. So you can see I actually used my 1 inch, but I went in, as I used my weaving machine to weave in. This is just so that it allows this place relax well. So that's why I'm maintaining this ½ inch at this point. Okay, I hope that makes sense. You can see how it is, so you can see how my stitch went. So I'll turn it to the wrong side and give it a very nice press. So can you see that because I tried to reduce the the sewing allowance I have there at the side, you can see that even without ironing, my top is already looking arranged. But if you leave up to 1 inch there, this place will gather. I don't know how to, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. You don't want it to pack around here, to look strange around here. So you want it to be flat. So that is why I reduced my seam allowance to just that ½ inch. And this is without ironing. So by the time I press it, everywhere will relax well. Okay, you can even do less than the ½ inch so that it can relax well, but I'm okay with ½ inch. That's giving me what I want already. So I'm going to press it, then I'll wear it on the mannequin so that we'll see what the A-shaped top looks like. I thought to share with us how I'm going to iron it. So this is my side seam allowance. So all you just need to do is to open here like this. Can you see? So that you can press your seam line opened. So after pressing it opened, I'll do the other side, then I'll lay it flat on the table the way it should be. So this is just the side. This will actually give you that relaxed look that you're looking for. Okay, so I'm going to turn the other side and repeat the same thing, and then I'll put it. So this is what I have. Can you see how my A shape came out really nice? And then you can see how the sleeves too, it came out really nice. I hope you enjoyed making this video with me. Kindly give me a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and do not forget to put on your notification bell so that I get notified whenever I post a new video. So I'm going to be wearing this dress on the mannequin so that I'll see what it will look like